How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Lorcana cave. I've been gone for a couple of weeks. I was out on vacation out in Utah. I was off-roading. It was a lot of fun, but I'm back, and I'm back to some huge news, some spoilers from Ravensburger, whatever. We have 13 spoiled cards for the second set of Lorcana, and I'm going to go through them with you. Some of them are exciting, others not so exciting, but let's just jump right into it. The first card, Tiana, a 4-cost 1/4 with resist 2. It's a new keyword in this set. It seems to only be on steel cards, at least in these spoiled cards that we've seen. Is that intentional? I don't know. Are they going to release it on other cards? I would assume so, but resist 2, damage dealt to this character is reduced by 2. While this character is exerted and you have no cards in your hand, opponents can't play actions. It also quests for 2. I don't know if I said that. What do I think about this card? It is interesting. I've seen some other people say that they think it's really good. This is one of those cards where I don't think it's outright good. I think it needs to really have that supporting cast around it to build that deck that it works very well in. But it is interesting, and I do really like the resist keyword. So we'll have to see. I think if it can find that deck, it has the potential to be amazing. But outside of that, if it doesn't have those supporting cards to become like a top meta deck, then I think it sees zero play. So I think it's one of those like either zero or a lot of play. Let's talk about the next card, Cinderella, another steel card with resist. It's a 7-cost inkable, 5/5, and quests for 3. It has shift 5, resist 2, same keyword that we just looked at, and whenever you play a song, this character may challenge ready characters this turn. I think this card is pretty insane. It's worth noting that resist is all damage, not just challenging. So things like grab your sword are going to do nothing to these cards, which is insane. It's worth noting there is a 4-drop Cinderella in the game, so you can play this on 5. Questing for 3 on 5 is pretty nuts. Resist 2 is pretty good. And whenever you play a song, this character may challenge ready characters this turn. It's just another form of removal if they have a character out there that they're not questing with, but you need to remove. Fantastic card. I'm pretty excited for this one. Next one, Gaston, whatever. 6 costs, uninkable, 4/4, quests for 3 with shift 4. When you play this character, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may put 1 into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So I do think the card is pretty good if you can shift it out for 4. I think it's going to see some play. Questing for 3 as a 4-drop is just really good. I don't think it's going to get dropped for 6 a lot unless it gets pretty late game. Maybe you've ramped a bunch with Sapphire, and the draw mechanic is pretty good. You get a body out there that quests for 3. So I do think it's going to see some play. Maybe not 4 ofs, but it does depend on what decks make the meta. Next card, we have Dinner Bell, another item that draws cards. It's a 4-cost uninkable with tap or exert, and pay 2. Draw cards equal to the damage on chosen character of yours, then banish them. So I'm pretty torn on this card. I think it's going to be one of those like either trash or amazing, depending on the decks that it fits into. It's kind of a magic mirror with some downside, and I guess some upside. You pay less, you get to draw more cards, but you have to banish one of your characters. I don't know. This one's hard to tell if it's going to be good or not. Value wise, you're going to get value. Obviously it fits a little bit better in control decks, later game control decks, and in that case is magic mirror just better. You're gonna have a lot of ink if you're inking a bunch, and paying the 4 is not so bad with magic mirror. You don't want to really kill any of your big cards, so we'll see. This is gonna have to, it's also another card that has to find its slot in the correct deck. It's not just outright insane, but it has potential. I'm excited to see what people do with this card. Next up, we have Rhea, 4-cost inkable, 5/3, quest for 1. It's the vanilla Rhea. I think they're just This is more teasing that this character is coming to the game. I don't think there's anything really exciting here. Um, I'm interested to see what her other cards are going to look like. Maybe they have shift 5 and maybe they're nuts. I don't know. But not much to say here. We're going to skip past this one. This card, 5 cost, uninkable, Bell, 3/3, quest for 3, with shift 3, and with thorny arrows. Whenever this character is challenged, the challenging character's player discards all cards in their hand. This is insane. Discards all cards in their hand, and it quests for 3. And you can't get it out on turn 3 right now. It's worth noting there's no bells that cost 1 or 2, so you're not going to play those bells and then get it out on turn 3. But there is a bell that costs 3, which means the earliest you can get this out currently with the cards that we have is on turn 4. 4 cost 3/3 that quests for 3, and whenever it's challenged, the opposing player discards their entire hand is insane. It's absolutely nuts. This just seems so wild to me. I don't know, especially if they introduce a 1 or 2 cost bell. Getting this out on 3 is crazy. You think aggro decks are good now? It's wild. I don't know what else to say about it. I'm going to be hoping to open this card because buying it is going to be outrageous. But fantastic card. I'm excited to see what else they come up with. It's also worth noting, I didn't point this out in the beginning, it seems to be 200 in the bottom left of the card. There seems to be 204 cards in the set. So same as the first set. I don't know if there's going to be a consistent thing, but for now, seems like it is. Next card, we have the Sorcerer's Spellbook. 3 cost uninkable item. Tap it, pay 1 to gain 1 lore. I think this is actually pretty good, especially in like the Ruby Amethyst deck or just any control Amethyst deck where you may be floating 1 mana pretty frequently, and it just gives you 1 lore. I mean, it is uninkable. I don't think you're running like 4 copies of this in a deck, but you might run a couple, you get them out. It's a bit slow, but if you throw them out late game, then it essentially puts your opponent on a timer where, you know, you have 15 lore. You get this out, they're on a 5-turn timer to try to beat you. You get 2 of them out, they're on a 2-3-turn timer. So I think it's a really good card. I'm interested to see so I think this is actually a really good card. I think I like that it's a rare, so it won't be outrageously expensive. Yeah, not much else to say there. Next up, we have Winnie the Pooh, a 5 cost inkable 5/5 that quests for 2. It's worth noting that this might be one of my favorite arts in Lorcana so far. It's just a fantastic Winnie the Pooh art. So one of my favorites. Outside of that, it's a vanilla Winnie the Pooh that quests for 2. So not much else to say, but this art is amazing. Next card, 4 cost inkable Merlin 1/5 quest for 1. With whenever one of your other characters is returned to your hand from play, this character gets +1 lore this turn. I think this is okay. I think it can see some play. I don't think it's going to be broken or anything like that. It's just an interesting card. But a 4 cost 1/5 that maybe you're going to get to quest for 2 on a turn. I don't know. I'm not completely sold on it, but it is interesting. It's Merlin. I like these cards that add lore, add how much you can quest for. They're interesting. One of my favorites is the Hades card, the Shift Hades, where it gets +1 for each villain. Cards like that, they have like almost no ceiling, and so it's interesting to see the potential that they could have. And so if this card gets more support with returning cards and bouncing cards, I think it could be very good. But as of now, with the cards that we have, I don't think it's that good. It's interesting, and I like the direction they're going with some of these cards. Next up, we have Elsa, a 4 cost inkable 3/4 that quests for 1 with Challenger 3. I have not been very impressed with Challenger cards. This is possibly getting printed to be used more in like the limited format if that takes off. But as far as, you know, metagame and constructed, I don't think it's going to see play, but another Elsa. So I think there's going to be a lot of Elsas in this game because people seem to love Elsa. So next card, 2 cost, uninkable, 0 to hero. Count the number of characters you have in play. You may pay that amount less for the next character you play this turn. At face value, this card seems pretty good. But the more I thought about it, the more I looked at it, it just seems like a win more card. Essentially, if you're not singing this out, you need to have more than 2 characters out on board to justify paying its cost. If you have 2 characters out and you pay 2 to play this card, and the next card that you're about to play costs 2 less, it doesn't matter. You're just burning a card. So you need to have 3 characters or more if you're going to play this outright. And when you get to that point of having, say, 5 characters where it's going to make a huge difference, I feel like you're already winning and it's not going to do much. It just seems like a win more card. Singing it out for 2 lets you get a little bit more value out of it, which is probably obviously how you're going to use it. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem that great. It seems like a win more card. It seems fun and interesting to play, maybe in one of those in the Stitch Rockstar deck. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna see like top level meta play. Again, I think I've drilled it into you guys enough. I think it's a win more card. Next up, we have the Queen, a 5 cost inkable 4/3 quest for 2 with shift 2. With whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character gets -4 this turn, and chosen character gets +4 attack this turn. So the main advantage of this card is going to be to shift it out so that you can quest right away and get the value from its second ability right away, and hopefully trade up to one of your opponent's big cards. There isn't any other cheaper queens at the moment, so there's not like a 1-drop queen where you can shift this out on 2, because that would be pretty nuts. I think this has the potential to be very good. I think that it's going to need some cheaper queens so you can cheat it out a little bit earlier. Shifting for 2 on top of that other 5-drop queen, I just don't think is that good, but its second ability is pretty nuts. So has potential, but I think it needs some more support cards for it to really find its spot in the meta. Next up and lastly, we have Mickey Mouse, a 6 cost inkable 1/6 that quests for 3. Whenever this character quests, you may pay 3 less for the next character you play this turn. I think this is pretty nuts. Obviously, the downside here is it's a 6 cost 1/6. So as far as board presence, it doesn't really have much. 1/6, you'll be able to chip away at really small stuff, but as far as removing big things, you're giving up a lot of tempo here. It does quest for 3, so if you're using it in some sort of like an aggro, like the top end of your aggro deck, or like you're not really looking to trade up into things, so you can get this out. It can quest for 3, and you can flood the board a little bit more effectively the following turn, hopefully stretch that last bit of lore that you're looking for. I think it's a pretty good card. I think it's going to see some play, and it's pretty exciting. I like all of these cards. I think that they're doing a really good job. It seems like the power level of some of these cards are going up pretty significantly by the second set, so that worries me slightly. I know that the power level has to go up a little bit, but if it's going to increase very rapidly, we're going to get some nutty games in just a few sets. I think that all these cards are really exciting, specifically Belle. I am very excited for that card. It seems really powerful. All the other cards I think are just going to find their slot. So that's it for this video. I saw these leaks this morning. I wanted to bring you guys a quick video, go over the cards, give you my thoughts on them. May not be 100% accurate on the usefulness on some of these cards, but these are just my first impressions, and I was excited to bring them to you guys. So as usual, if you love all things Lorcana, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the bell. I'll see you in the next one.